What makes USCIS start working on my delayed case? Hi, I'm Jim Hacking, immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. My good buddy Justin always tells me, Jim, you spike in loudness when you start your video, so I'm going to try to talk a little bit quieter in today's video. And we're talking about something really important. It's about what gets people moving on your case. What in the world can you do when your case has been delayed? Now, of course, we've had many videos in the past talking about how letters from Congress don't work, how calling the ombudsman doesn't work. And I want to tell you that what actually gets USCIS to work on your case when it's been delayed for years and years is not even the filing of the lawsuit. It's the act of service of process. Now, you're probably scratching your head saying, what in the heck is he talking about? Isn't it the lawsuit that makes things happen? Isn't it when you sue them in court? Well, yes, it is. But filing the lawsuit in and of itself is not the thing that makes USCIS start to work on the case. What makes USCIS start to work on the case is when you actually send them the lawsuit. It's that thump of the package arriving on their desk that makes someone pick it up and get moving on it. Now, when I was back in law school, I had to take this horrible class called the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. And civil procedure is something that made you want to pull your hair out. It was so detailed and so boring. We had to spend all this time learning all these little intricate rules that govern everything that happens in federal court. And Rule 4 is the rule that governs service of process. And in Rule 4, it says that when you sue a government defendant like USCIS or the State Department, that you have to serve them in a special way. Usually we would just hire the sheriff to go out and drop the lawsuit on some scumbag defendant. But here it's the U.S. government. Here you have to do things a little bit differently. And what you have to do is you have to send it to them by certified mail, return receipt requested. Now, you can't send it by Federal Express. You can't send it through regular mail. You have to send it return receipt requested, and you have to send it by certified mail. That way you get the proof from USPS, the U.S. Postal Service, that the defendants have been served. And it's only when the U.S. attorney who is defending the lawsuit receives their copy of the lawsuit that things start moving. That is when the clock actually starts ticking. So it's not paying the filing fee. It's not actually filing the lawsuit. It's actually getting it served on the defendant. So when I talk to the team and I talk to the other lawyers that help us with lawsuits, I explain to them that, yeah, it's important to move quickly. Yeah, we want to get the lawsuit on file fast. But it's not just the filing of the lawsuit. It's what happens right after the filing of the lawsuit. It's what happens at the clerk's office, because after you file the lawsuit and the matter is opened, you're going to submit some draft summonses to the clerk's office for them to seal so that you can send them by certified mail, return receipt requested to each of the defendants. And that is a glorious thing. When the summonses come out, the paralegals print them out, and our team here make sure that those get sent right away, because we don't want there to be much of a gap between when we file the lawsuit, when the clerk issues the summonses, and when the lawsuit is actually received by the defendants. Because, as you now know, that is when things start to happen. Now, do we here think that they monitor our pleadings, that they're aware of when we file a lawsuit, even before they are served? Yes, we do. Could I prove it? Yeah, maybe, if I could do some discovery. But it doesn't really matter, because what we all can agree on is that when the defendants receive the lawsuit by certified mail, return receipt requested, they have 60 days to answer. And so when you talk to other lawyers and they say, well, I'm going to send a threatening letter, or I'm going to reach out to the U.S. attorney, none of that stuff works. It might work every once in a while, but the one thing that really works is when they get that damn lawsuit on their desk, because they have 80 other priorities. It's the last thing on their mind until they know there is a deadline for them to put on their calendar, for their client USCIS to put on their calendar, and for then things to start moving. So now you know the true secret of lawsuits. You know the true way that we get their attention, that we raise our hands and we say, hey, look over here. Look at this guy's case. He's been waiting for his citizenship for too long. Look at this lady's case. She's been trying to bring her husband from Iraq for years and years. So it's that clock, that 60-day clock, that gets your case moving. Hope you found this helpful. Hope you found it instructive. If you are thinking about filing a lawsuit, you need to call our law firm. We've done over 1,300 lawsuits as the time of this video that I'm making, and I think that it's the only thing that works. And like I said, it's not just the lawsuit. It's the service of summons. So now that you know, you know. If you have any questions or you want to file that lawsuit, 314-961-8200. Email us, info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. You can also join us in our Facebook group. It's called Immigrant Home. We'd love to see you there. We'd love to have you sharing information, learning from other people, finding about processing times and all those things. All those kinds of things that immigrants and those they love are thinking about every single day. That's what we're talking about in the Facebook group. And then, of course, we have our YouTube channel where we have more than 1,000 videos talking about all kinds of immigration matters, and where we go live 3 or 4 days a week on our Immigration Answer Show, where I try to answer all of your questions for free for 60 minutes several times a week. We'd love to see you there too. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.